The world is filled with stories of legendary heroes and treacherous villains, of fantastical creatures and wondrous places where nature and magic live in perfect harmony. Not all stories have happy endings. But yours has yet to be written.
I know that I say this quite a lot, but I owe some of my fondest memories as a gamer to Fable. Now, Fable has been or was quite in a decline after the third entry. Then we got Fable Legends cancelled as well, and then it was through the years, dude, as time passed by, it was just bad news after bad news. 2017, that's when Lionhead Studios was shut down, and like little bit of me personally, and I think that many gamers out there, little part of us inside of our little hearts, little gamer hearts, died when that happened. And then Fable 4, which is not Fable 4, was announced. It is my strong belief that we are going to hear a little bit more, that we are going to see a proper gameplay for Fable, for this new entry in the series, in this renewed IP, breath fresh air into the lungs of this Microsoft IP. We're going to hear a little bit more in this next digital E3 that we are going to have in June. But before we actually get there, there's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about Fable, so I decided let's do some research. This is going to be mostly focusing on what we know so far about Fable, the official stuff that we know so far, so let's get into the matter, right? The studio behind Fable, as many of us already know, it's Playground. And yes, I know it's a little too far stretch from the genre that we are talking, but I think that at least we can say that they can deliver beautiful scenery. There are, as of right now, or well, when the last reports were made, there were 200 people working in the Fable next entry of Fable right now, and those talents involve huge titans on the gaming industry, such as Will Kennedy, which is a level designer who worked on Grand Theft Auto 5 and its online components. He is the chief designer of Fable 4, or well, I'm going to be referring as Fable 4, alright? in his design team, we have Juan Fernandez de Simon, lead designer of Hellblade, and Hunter Wright, lead quest designer for Borderlands. Yes, I know it's quite weird to have a new team behind such a beloved franchise. It's weird to have like Fable being developed not by Lionhead Studios. And like the main aspects, one of the main things, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when we talk about the narrators, the writers of the game, narrative designers. But one of the most important aspects about Fable is that this British humor that the game had, like the first, second, and third one had, it was such a great experience with that writing, dude. And having a Borderlands quest designer in here, because that's hugely important as well when we talk about side content, and since we believe that Fable 4 is going to be an open world, it is hugely important as well that we have a proper quest designer that can live up to the narrative, to this comic thing, or like ambient, or like spirit that Fable has. I think that there's a whole lot of promise and potential talent in here working on this new entry of Fable. In the art department, we have a pair of Ubisoft veterans, Adam Olson and Tom Isaacen. The first was lead embodiment designer at The Division 2, and later he was chief character designer for Ghost Recon series. Now we get into the real juicy stuff. Most of the Batman Arkham Knight narrative script writing team is in the head of the narrative, led by Martin Lancaster. One important personality to be mentioned in here is Kim McCaskill. There was an interview done to McCaskill in March, and in here we hear her saying, quote, "I read the job description for the type of writer that they wanted, and it just said British, witty, whimsical, RPG game, and we'd made fun with those guys since they'd never going just to tell us if Fable, it's definitely Fable. It's like the worst kept secret. You don't want to get it wrong. You don't want to be the writer that drops the baton, especially as a woman. I think that sometimes I've got a bit of pressure to not suck. There's a tendency for new game writers to write what they think the studio wants. You really have to sell your own voice from where you've came, because that's what is going to stand out." And what we can dig out from that interview is to know a little bit about the narrative, some of the narrative designers behind Fable. Why so goddamn important? Well, Fable has always been this kind of tragicomedy approach. I think that many of the gamers disappointed at Fable 3 was because the change of the setting. Fable, the first Fable, and a little bit about the second one, it was based around heroic fantasy, epic heroic fantasy, with some tragicomedy in here. And this comedy, it's like the most important aspect, because it's this British comedy that just nails the mood where it's supposed to be, dude. When we talk about these narrative designers, about these writers, we know, like she mentioned in the interview, first and foremost, she's going to be stay faithful to the original formula of the narrative building. She needs to stay on top of the lore, because there's a whole bunch of lore in Fable, even though if it doesn't look like that much to it. We have a whole bunch of different characters, different places, different time periods of time that have such a huge impact in the world of Fable, in Albion and Aurora and all of these places. So if they mess up, like they mess up real bad. But one thing that I like to read about her in this interview that we have right here is that she says that she likes to take risks as a writer, and like that's something that that's a personal opinion, that's a little bit biased, but that's something that I always praise in every single place, because when you add your specific talent to a company, at the end of the day, dude, developing a video game is just a whole bunch of people packed together, adding their talent to this beautiful jewel that they are crafting. And when everybody can add their specific voices, especially in narrative, to add their voices to the narrative, but still maintaining yourself faithful to the original formula. This is called emulation in the literature world. Not everybody manages to pull it off, but this autonomy of character, this leadership of character, that's when I believe that when good things get to happen. So we have an independent, strong people. Well, I like to believe that everyone in the company is like that. But they don't have to fully follow the authority. Of course, you have a game director that is orchestrating everything, but at the end of the day, you're adding your talent to the company, right? You're adding your personal talent to the company, and being able to make this work in a full, complete synergy. I believe there's promise, at least in that. Now, finally, let's talk about the leak. That being said, of course, let's talk about a leak that was made public prior to the teaser trailer announcement, and the leak reads as it follows. First, third person, in-depth character creator, completely open, no guns, can ignore main quest and never become a hero. Players can build towns, dice into main quest heavily if you get the bad ending and fail. Multiplayer Unreal Engine. And then the leaker says, Albion and Aurora are gone, lands reduced to fables. The Spire was rebuilt and used by a Mad King to wish that an asteroid would strike the planet. He also wished it would happen again in the far future, eons later, and everything is new, medieval themed new continents, and you have to stop the destruction of the planet again. Theresa and Heroes Guild are preserved on another planet via Demon Door. Time travel heavily involved in play. Jacob Blades returns. Let's talk about the credibility of this leak. If you ask me, like if anyone wants Mary Old James' opinion, this is as fake as the love that she had for you. First and foremost, when this thing was made public prior to the official teaser trailer that we got. When you made public an official trailer or teaser trailer, at some extent you want to showcase in a general specific area what the thing might actually, like the setting might actually end up looking like. We know that for the setting in here is like, we can talk about like different periods, like there's the fall of heroes and there's the industrialization. At least we can say that it looks like it's going to be medieval theme. Main key aspects, because like why this thing leak could be fake, because it mentions like the spire that the anchors built to make these wishes and stuff, like crazy stuff like that. There's no spire. Like you can see what it seems to be a rebuilt Bowerstone in the distance. It's like a medieval kind of setting. Probably like if you ask my opinion, this game is going to be set on the when the Heroes Guild like fell and like stuff like that, but like there's no spire in here. There's no like anything teasing possible different planets, so like no, this leak is just a fake leak. The dude saying leaking this thing, he said that he watched a gameplay footage. There was people asking him about that stuff. He was being like very ambiguous, but pretty much he said that he took a screenshot about these details before like everything was being pulled away from him. But yeah, there's that. That's pretty much everything that we know for Fable so far. I think that we are going to hear a little bit more, a whole bunch more. I expect a gameplay and a release date on this new upcoming E3 for this year. I'm hoping to hear for some more news about as well. That being said, do let me know, are you excited about Fable 4? Tell me in the comments, guys. I'm really interested in hearing your opinion. With that being said, I'll see you beautiful gamers. Next one, don't you ever forget that you're goddamn beautiful gamers. See you in the next one. Stay safe, stay beautiful. I'll see you later.